Tutankhamen wasn't of major importance, although the discovery of his tomb in 1922 made him one of the most well-known pharaohs Egypt ever had. His tomb was discovered by Howard Carter and had been untouched for centuries. It was the first time the tomb had been opened ever since it had been shut when he died. The treasure-filled tomb outlasted time and tomb robbers. The Center for the Arts did have a King Tut exhibit from September to December in 2011. The exhibit was part of a worldwide traveling exhibit from the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. It included 55 priceless Egyptian artifacts. King Tut came to the throne in 1333 BC when he was only 9 or 10 years old. He then was crowned at Memphis and later married his half-sister Ankhesenamun. He was only at the throne for a decade and died at an early age of 19. Tutankhamen was the king during the Amarna period. It was a troubled time of religious instability where most people still worship the sun god Aten. King Tut died at a young age of 19, and for a long time it was thought that he died from being murdered. Historians believe he died from his intense injuries they found after examining his body, which is why they thought it was murder. A hole was found in the base of Tutankhamun's skull, which led scientists and historians to believe he died from a head wound. After closer examinations, scientists now believe that the hole was made after he died, to inject a certain resin that would help preserve his body. Closer inspection led scientists to notice a broken thigh bone. CAT scans were taken of the femur that suggests that the broken leg was caused by a riding accident that led to serious infections that may have caused his death, although we might never know for certain who or what killed King Tut. Theodore Davis was the first person to hold the excavation permit at the Valley of the Kings where King Tut's tomb was found. Later, Howard Carter held this permit, and with this he would dig up one of the greatest discoveries in the entire world. Howard Carter noticed King Tut's seals on the doorway. Carter and his patron Carnarvon went down a narrow, steep passage and came to a second door. Carter first made a hole in the door, and then he lit a torch to test for any dangerous gases that may be lurking in the untouched air. He then looked through the hole and saw wonderful things, as he described it. He could see the inside of the tomb that was glittered with gold. For 10 years, Carter searched for the tomb and failed many times. It was a perfect example of not giving up and being patient. This was going to be Carter's final year of excavation, and if he would have quit any sooner, King Tut's tomb might have still been sealed away to this day. Tutankhamun's tomb is very small, one of the smallest tombs ever discovered in the Valley of the Kings. The Egyptians and pharaohs abandoned the pyramids and used the valley instead because they thought it might be safe, or at least safer, from grave robbers. The complex burial site in the Valley of the Kings was designed to confuse and mislead or deter grave robbers who were searching for any gold or valuables that might be hidden away inside. They did this by using fake tombs and hidden entrances. The burial of Tutankhamen was quite simple compared to other ancient burials. His tomb was built in short time because of his unexpected death, and the tomb only consisted of 4 main rooms. Other pharaohs had extravagant tombs with many rooms that were prepared decades before the pharaohs even died. The paintings and hieroglyphics in King Tut's tomb were very simple also, compared to other pharaohs. They even appear to have been painted hastily, most likely because of Tut's unexpected death. The hieroglyphics and murals in his tomb depicted his early life and spell out his name. In some of these scenes made by the murals, he is meeting gods and goddesses. After Carter found the entrance to the tomb, it wasn't until 3 months later when he located Tutankhamun's sarcophagus. Inside he found 3 coffins, the middle one being made out of solid gold. This one was King Tut's. They all weighed a great amount, and an improvised crane was needed to lift them out of the sarcophagus. Inside the beautifully crafted coffin lay King Tut's mummy, wrapped in linen doused in more than 100 jewels and charms. The most precious artifact was the amazing death mask that covered Tutankhamun's face. This was made out of beaten and shaped gold that depicted a boy's face, most likely because Tutankhamun was very young when he died. When Carter described the items inside the tomb as wonderful things, it was very much an understatement. The tomb was packed full with items, sculptures, and objects that were intended to join Tutankhamun as he journeyed into the afterlife. The chests and boxes were some of the most intricate and decorative pieces found inside of King Tut's tomb. The painted box was most appreciated by Carter himself because it was coated fully in paintings that described the king's life with such detail. One of the scenes show the king in a battle where he is being very brave, and it shows his look of concentration as he fires an arrow. Most of the artifacts from the tomb were moved to museums. These include the very valuable materials such as gold and silver, which the great architects of ancient Egypt used to build the tomb. These materials came from the deserts of eastern Egypt, or they may have come from the mines of Nubia. The Egyptian Museum in Cairo, Egypt, probably has the best collection of tomb items, the main one being King Tut's real face. This is something that attracts people from all around the world, and anyone today can see the face of the great King Tut that lived over 3,000 years ago.